Welcome back, baseball fans, to our Legends in the Making playthrough where we are in OOTP 26, going from 1921 and rewriting history. We are up through the current day, and we are currently in 1996 opening day. We've had some heartbreak in the playoffs the last couple of years. This will hopefully be our year, but I'm not so sure. We've got our lineup of Biggio, then Gwynn, Matt Williams, Galarraga, Edmonds, O'Neill, Vizquel, and Charles Johnson is moving into catcher, defensive phenom back there. We have Greg Maddux, Randy Johnson, new addition, who we traded for, Kevin Brown, Tom Glavine, and David Cone in the rotation. Hoffman, everybody else is pretty much the same. As far as Brown goes, we traded away George Arias, Tony Batista, and Chuck Finley to get him. We didn't make any other additions in the offseason, so we're hoping he can carry us through. Now, as far as Hall of Fame voting goes, Ron Guidry gets in barely in his third year, and Reggie Smith, this guy here, played for the Cubs most of his career, ends up with 3,300 hits, 1,800 runs, 284 average, and 89 WAR. Got himself a Gold Glove, lots of All-Stars, some Silver Sluggers. This guy, I couldn't have told you who he was, even though he played for the Cardinals for a couple years there. But he had a solid run, had a 74 WAR overall, 2,000 hits. I mean, not a bad player, but this is a guy from the 70s that just totally slipped under my radar. Not familiar with him. Jim Brewer, so close. Tommy John got dropped. Tug McGraw's in there, but Rod Carew still hasn't even made it. So I tell you, this is a tough Hall of Fame to get in. It's at the top there. So we are going to hopefully mount a charge here. We know the Cubs and the Reds are going to be tough. We know the Phillies are going to be tough. We know the Orioles on the other end are going to be tough. And the White Sox have been mounting a charge lately. They got A-Rod and Sorrento and Salmon and Cirillo. Billy Wagner is apparently starting for them. That's a choice. But they have Troy Percival in their closer role. So that's, yeah, we're going to see what happens here. I'm excited to get started on this new episode. And we'll see as we get into 1996 what will happen and if we can get finally back to the mountaintop. At the All-Star break, we find ourselves 9.5 games up over the Cubs. We had a Milwaukee Brewers-like winning streak of 13 games. Before, as you see at the end here, slowing down quite a bit, losing 4 in a row, but the Cubs have struggled even more than us. Elsewhere, the Phillies are 9 up over the Mets. The Dodgers, keeping pace with us as far as win totals go, 6.5 up over the Rockies. So the Rockies are already mounting quite the run behind okay players. McGriff's doing well over there. Dean Palmer, Alomar, Roberto Kelly. So they've got Al Leiter. It'll be interesting if that team can hold up. In the AL, the Yankees have finally made it back to the top of the division before the Orioles, I'm sure, will come and sweep them away. They got Nomar Garcia-Parra in his rookie season. They've got Jeff Conine, Eric Karros. Walt Weiss is their DH. That's an interesting one. Nomo and Andy Bennis, Steve Traxel. Again, will it hold up the charge of Barry Bonds and Juan Gonzalez, Wade Boggs, J. Bell, Kevin Napier, Brett Saberhagen? I don't know. The Orioles might hunt them down. The White Sox are 6.5 game up with the best record in the majors. They've got that young core. A-Rod's having a great year. They've got Darryl Strawberry back there as well. So much for a young core. He's having a resurgence. And California is 5.5 up over Oakland as the Brewers sit 6.5 up in the wild card. The Rockies and Padres are tied half game up over the Cubs in our wild card. The league leaders in the American League, it's Frank Thomas hitting 375. Mark McGwire on pace for 70 home runs again. Has 35. Oh, my fault. He's on pace for 65 home runs, but more RBI than last year. Whoa. He is rewriting the record books in this run. He's already at 440. He's going to break 500 next season. And he still isn't to where his St. Louis, I mean, that'll be the year that he moved to St. Louis and finally got above 50 again. So he has a few more big years. We'll see what happens. I think he's got 600 in him for sure. He is also leading the league with 94 RBI. Otis Nixon has 37 stolen bases. Frank Thomas with a 1202 OPS. Larry Walker's up there as well. Again, McGuire and Walker, but the Twins are struggling this season because they have absolutely no pitching. 24th in ERA, 28th in strikeouts, and 21st in defensive efficiency. A-Rod is leading the way in batter war with a 5.7. Hitting streak, it was Jim Eisenreich with 27 games. Larry Christensen for California. He's our former guy. He's getting a chance to start again. He is leading the league in what will probably be one. Well, no, he's still got a few seasons left, potentially. But he kept getting hurt for long periods of time for us. But it's good to see that he's doing well for a different league, especially. But he is helping out California with a 2.85 ERA. Pedro Astacio, Alan Bennis, and Mike Hampton all have 11 wins. Kurt Schilling with the 154 strikeouts. John Wetland has 20 saves, and Schilling with a 4.4 pitcher WAR. In the NL, it's Wally Joyner hitting 362. Lyman Bostock, our former guy, is hitting 356 in what will be his final season. He's 45. If the trend continues, he'll be done after this. Mo Vaughn has 32 home runs himself. Albert Bell with 88 RBI. Kenny Lofton leading the league again with 28 stolen bases, but Vizquel and Biggio are right behind. Sheffield with an 1128 OPS and a 5.6 batter WAR. Bernard Gilkey had a 31-game hitting streak, and the pitching's where we've excelled, with Maddux at a 1.97 ERA, besting Martinez and Brown, but that is crazy good. Darryl Kyle has 11 wins along with Pedro Martinez. Maddux is only at 9, Brown at 9 as well. Randy Johnson has 144 strikeouts along with Pedro Martinez. Tied, and Johnson has 9 wins. It's just the theme of our starters. Jeff Brantley has 24 saves, and Martinez, Pedro, leads with a 4.7 pitcher WAR. Does everybody have? All of our starters have 9 wins. That's interesting. Our bullpen has struggled, 9th in ERA. Nobody is doing well outside of Paul Bird. It's a struggle, and we have somebody hurt, I believe. Yeah, Tom Hinkie, our best guy, he's out for the year with a torn flexor tendon in his elbow. Our best reliever is gone. So we moved up Danny Graves. He's not that good yet, but, hopefully we'll survive. When it comes to the All-Star game, we've got for the AL, John Smoltz getting the start at a 7-8 record, no less. John Wetland at the closer role. Mike Piazza, who's hitting 356 with 17 home runs, gets it at catcher. Jeff Bagwell is now at first base, hitting 314, having another solid year for Minnesota, who, again, they're loaded with offense. McGuire, I'm sure, will get the start at DH. Quilvio Veras. I do not know this player, but he's got an all-star appearance. Played for Florida, San Diego, and Atlanta. He's going to be one of these guys that probably has a much longer career in our simulation. King Caminiti beats out Wade Boggs. He's hitting 321 with 24 home runs. Barry Larkin gets it again at short, besting A-Rod. I mean, Larkin's no slouch there himself. Barry Bonds in left, David Justice in center, and we've got Larry Walker in right. Bonds has 18 stolen bases to go with his 22 home runs. In the NL, Brown and Johnson and Maddux all make it with Maddux getting the start. Trevor Hoffman, even though he's having a horrible season ERA-wise and with 5 losses, gets on there, but Rob Nin, who's having a much better year, is getting the start. Todd Hundley at catcher with hitting 302. At first, it's going to be Mo Vaughn. Biggio gets a nod, but Chuck Knobloch over him. He's got 4.1 WAR. He is phenomenal, I guess, at defense there for him. Because Biggio's no slouch either. He's having a good year. Matt Williams gets again at third. Jim Thomey's also on the team. Roberto Alomar at short. And the outfield is going to be Albert Bell in left. Griffey at center, finally. And Gary Sheffield in right. Bobby Bonilla is there. Harold Baines is there. Lots of 300 hitters, including this guy, Chris Smith. He's another one I don't know. Oh, he's been around since the 1980s. He's had 4 All-Star appearances and 2 Silver Sluggers. He's hit okay. Huh. Interesting. And McGuire won the home run derby, beating out Mo Vaughn. So there we are with the midway point, and we are going to get ourselves ready, and we're going to go through the second half of the season, trying to make it back to the mountaintop. But again, this playoffs, it's been our Achilles heel lately, and we got to make sure we hold off. We've struggled here lately. Our bullpen is not good. So it's going to be interesting. Will we slip up, or will the offense, who's first in the league, continue to carry us, and the starting pitching be enough as the bullpen continues to struggle? Well, once again, we found ourselves on top of the NL Central, this time with a 107-win season. The second half, as has been the case in many seasons, was our strongest half. We ended up beating the Reds by 17 games, but that means we had to go up against the Reds as the wild card team, and we know how that works out for us sometimes. The Phillies ended up winning by 24 games over the Mets. They were the only team above 500, and the Dodgers held off the Giants by 9 games, so the division leaders ran away with everything. The Reds ended up winning by 3 games, the wild card. In the AL, it was the Yankees finally getting up to back on top. They beat the Orioles by 16 games. The Bonds Orioles that we thought were going to be so good for a while, just no pitching whatsoever, and fell apart and couldn't do anything. The White Sox had a 100-win season again, led by A-Rod. The Brewers finished in second again, so they have to face off just like we do. The Angels, with 98 wins, won by 17 games over the A's. So it was like division leaders everywhere running away with everything. The Brewers ended up winning by 4 games over the Royals. In the playoffs, we started off against the Reds, and it was a team that they've been our nemesis. They were second highest scoring team, but their pitching wasn't able to be there, and we were able to take them 3-1. I got a little nervous because they beat us in the first game, but then we put things together. Things turned out okay. Jim Edmonds had the playoff MVP with 2 home runs, or the series MVP with 2 home runs and 6 RBI. The Angels swept away the Yankees. The Brewers beat the White Sox pretty handily, and the Phillies squeaked by the Dodgers. So we had to go up against the Phillies, who we beat in the regular season, and they could not keep up. We won 4-1, including Game 3, which saw Galarraga hitting 3 home runs in one game. But it was Matt Williams with the playoff MVP, as he had 10 RBI on 2 home runs and 10 hits where he hit 500. Which brought us back to the World Series yet again against the Angels, who were the defending champions. Notice we have the Anaheim Angels now. And we were able to beat them in 6 games. We won the first 2, lost the next 2, but then we were able to win the last 2, games 5 and 6, to get the victory, 5-4, barely holding off. And Galarraga was able to pick up the World Series MVP after hitting .435 with 2 home runs and 6 RBI. It's kind of amazing we won this thing because our bullpen was atrocious until you got to the playoffs. Trevor Hoffman was lights out in the playoffs. Rod Beck is someone we traded for in the midpoint of the season. We were able to trade away Greg Norton for him. They offered Norton and somebody else for him. I was like, well, let's see if we can just give them Norton. And it worked. Beck was the only decent reliever during the regular season, but everybody else just locked in. The pitching was great in the playoffs. So that got us our 22nd World Series title, first one since 1989, defeating the defending champions, who have been on a good run lately, led by Larkin and Caminiti and Olerud, and I mean they've been in Schilling and Wetland. They've had good teams. So when we look at the final league leaders, Frank Thomas won the batting title with a .373 average. He won the home run title with 59. McGuire slowed down. And he got the RBI to seal his Triple Crown winning season at 150 RBIs to hold off Mark McGuire yet again. Otis Nixon had 61 stolen bases. Frank Thomas had a 1204 OPS. Just give him the MVP unanimously right now, because he also had a 9.4 batter WAR. A-Rod was up there with 31 home runs, exactly the same as last time, but a .339 average. Much, much better. Jim Eisenreich had 27-game hitting streak that held up. Mike Hampton with a .304 ERA gets the ERA crown over Astachio and Schilling. He also had 20 wins, but he couldn't get the Triple Crown with his 141 strikeouts because Schilling struck out 265. John Wetland had 38 saves, and Kurt Schilling with a 7.6 pitcher WAR. In the NL was Mariano Duncan for Colorado hitting .350. Henry Rodriguez, don't know this guy. He had 7 home runs last season. He's done all of nothing so far. And in real life in 1996, he did hit 36 home runs. So he had a little bit of a run there. 52 home runs. But Albert Bell had 151 RBI. Lofton with 46 stolen bases. Edgar Martinez, a 103.9 OPS. Solid hitter he was. Gary Sheffield, 7.7 batter WAR. Bernard Gilkey had 31-game hitting streak. And the pitching's where we shined. Greg Maddux, a 2.16 ERA. Brown was right behind him. Not really, but he was second. Maddux had 19 wins, but only 188 strikeouts. And Johnson had 275 strikeouts, just pacing the way. And Trevor Hoffman, despite a 5.20 ERA, like I said, we were atrocious in the bullpen, had 44 saves to lead the league. Greg Maddux with a 9.3 pitcher WAR. You can see how things were for us because when you look at our ratings, everything was great except home runs. Matt Williams was our guy again, and Galarraga. Gwynn had 12. But it was our bullpen ERA was 7th. And our part of that may have been our defense. Our zone rating's not the best. We're efficient, not a ton of errors, but not covering a lot of ground. So, yeah, you can see here, it was bad. And none of them had, Hoffman in real life had like a 2-something ERA. So that kind of surprised me. All right, let's take a look at our award winners before we take a look at the draft. Oh, okay. And let's see who walked away. I'm going to guess Schilling. It's going to get one based on his WAR. I think Maddux has a good shot at the Cy Young as well. But let's start with the Gold Glove winners. John Smoltz picks one up for the Red Sox in the AL at pitcher. Jesse Levis at catcher. Eric Karros at first. Greg Gagne at second. Jeff Branson at third. Mike Benjamin at short. And the outfield was Terry Bradshaw, wrong sport guy. You go back to football. Ryan Thompson and Matt Miskey. In the NL, it was David Cohn for us. Okay, pitching, he struggled. He was the guy who got left out of the playoff rotation. Tom Lampkin at catcher. Jim Leyritz at first. Lance Blankenship at second. Vinny Castilla at third. Alex S. Gonzalez for the Dodgers at short. And the outfield was Bernard Gilkey, Chuck Hart, and Slammin' Sammy Sosa, who has quietly had really good seasons the last 3 years, but he's just not shown up on anything. He's getting close to that magical 98 season. Okay. Reliever of the year in the AL was Jeff Parrott with 26 first-place votes. Wetland squeaked out 2. Parrott had a 2.51 ERA, only 5 saves with 6-2. Dominant middle reliever or setup man there. And Mike Fetters gets it. Hoffman, the saves leader, doesn't even get up there because he couldn't stop anybody from scoring. Mike Fetters got 25 first-place votes, 40 saves, 2.60 ERA. And then the Silver Sluggers in the AL was Mike Piazza for the Brewers at catcher, 36 home runs, a 3.44 average. Thomas, of course, at first. Lou Whitaker at second, hitting 3.55. King Caminiti with 42 home runs at third. A-Rod gets it at short. And the outfield was Barry Bonds, who was a 30-30 guy again. David Justice, Larry Walker yet again, and Jeff Bagwell at 41 home runs at the DH spot, 28 stolen bases himself. In the NL, it was Tom Glavine, our man, hitting 282. Todd Hundley at catcher. Henry Rodriguez at first. Craig Biggio at second. 24 home runs with his 36 stolen bases. Dean Palmer beat out Matt Williams. Looks like deservedly on that one. 45 home runs and 127 RBIs, along with 116 runs. Man. Roberto Alomar at short. Albert Bell in left with 45 home runs. Griffey in center, and Gary Sheffield in right. Rookie of the years go to Alan Bennis for Cleveland. He was 189 strikeouts and 3.55 ERA and 18-8. Joe Nunnally, the left fielder for Detroit there, picked up several first-place votes as well, hitting 251 with 28 home runs. And Nomar Garciaparra with 27 home runs and 244 average. Wait, was that 244? Oh, it was. Man, it's rough for him. In the NL was Bob Malachy 127 strikeouts, 13-15 record, 3.48 ERA. If he were on our team, that record would have been better. A 32-year-old rookie. Wow. He'd already been pitching for a while in real life, but they brought him up and had a good year. Noberto Martin got 1 vote with 304 average. Rich Aurelia. Yeah, nobody was special really in the NL. And we've got Cy Young, Kurt Schilling. We thought he would get it. He got it unanimously. Larry Christensen, our former guy, getting up there, 204 strikeouts, gets a chance to start yet again. Is he going to be a free agent? Nope, he's locked in for the rest of his career. Does he have a shot at the Hall of Fame now? He does. I mean, he started a lot of games before he got to us, then only 3 years. And after that magical year, we moved him to the bullpen. He deserves to be in there, I think. I hope he has 2 more good seasons. In the NL, it was Greg Maddux getting it unanimously. So picking up, what is that? His third one. 91, 94, and 96. And hopefully he gets some more. Johnson's wanting there as well. Frank Thomas, unanimous. We knew that for MVP. And Gary Sheffield beating out Henry Rodriguez. Maddux got 8 first-place votes. But Sheffield, solid season. He led the batter war. He was a fantastic player there. So let's take a look at the first-year player draft. Our top guys, Chone Figgins, J.D. Drew, Lance Berkman, Juan Rincon, Michael Young, Johan Santana, Jack Cuss, I don't know him, Travis Hafner, Jason Worth, Roy Oswalt. Oswalt was like, I haven't heard of him. I don't remember which year it was, but somewhere in here, he was the one that was really, really effective. But he would leave with the lead, and then the bullpen blew so many wins of his potentially. He would have had a lot more wins in his career if the bullpen didn't blow his leads. And I would love to add him to the rotation, but that's not going to happen because we're picking way down here. When we look at some of the other names, we've got Lance Berkman out there, Marcus Giles, Aramis Ramirez, Vernon Wells, Eric Chavez, Rafael Furcal, David Eckstein, Travis Lee. There's several good players out there. In the pitching side of things, you got Tim Hudson also out there. Would love to get him. Scott Williamson had a couple seasons, I feel like. Chris Benson was another one, had lots of potential. I thought he was going to be something special for my fantasy team, and he never did. J.C. Romero's out there. Okay, well, I'm sure we'll get at least somebody with some kind of potential. And Andrew Jones will be coming up to us next season as well. He'll be ready, so we're excited for that. All right, kicking us off, the Atlanta Braves are going to select Jason Worth. Interesting. Okay. Montreal gets Johan Santana. The Marlins take J.D. Drew, Travis Hafner to Cleveland, Lance Berkman to the Tigers, Rafael Soriano to the Mets. The Royals, Juan Rincon. Roy Oswalt falls to 8 in the Blue Jays. They love their good pitchers if they only would keep them. Seattle gets Tim Hudson. Red Sox get Michael Young. Astros take Scott Williamson. Bobby Say to the Orioles. Texas gets Scott Linebrink. Vernon Wells to the Cubs. The A's, Marcus Giles. Jeff Zimmerman to the Pirates. The Rockies, Aramis Ramirez. Randy Wolf to the Twins. Jack Cuss to the Padres. Braden Looper to the Royals. The Giants take Randy Choate. Chone Figgins to the Yankees. The Reds get Randy Flores. Joaquin Benoit to the Brewers. Billy Cook to the Phillies. Scott Downs to the Dodgers. Chris Benson to the Angels. Thought we would maybe get him. Eckstein's out there. Scott Strickland to the White Sox. Gil Mesh. I kind of remember the name. Yeah, Seattle. We're in the era where pitchers got beat around a lot. Rafael Furcal's out here. I'm leaning towards him. Eckstein's great too. Not great, but solid player. Oh, Eric Chavez is out here. Got to take him. Let's make sure there's nobody else that I'm missing. Almost missed Eric Chavez. Yeah, it's got to be Chavez. There we go. Wrapping up the first round with Eric Chavez. I'm happy with that pick. That's a solid player. So we are going to wrap up there on this season. Some of the big names potentially hitting free agency are King Caminiti, Lou Whitaker, Wade Boggs again, Gary Gaetti, Paul Molitor, Alomar, Roberto Kelly. Yeah, so not as big of a free agent class. I don't think we need to go sign anybody necessarily. Like I said, Andrew Jones is getting ready. He'll be good enough to be up there. His defense is amazing. We're going to move him up there while I'm thinking about it. And we'll see what we've got as we get ready for the 1997 season. We are ready for 1997. We are out to defend our World Series championship that we finally were able to pull in last season. Andrew Jones is going to be on our team this year on the main roster. But Edmonds and O'Neill and Gwynn are going to be the starters as of now. Jones might force his way in there if he has the bat. But, 1997, he didn't really have much of the bat. It's next year that I think we're going to be able to have him emerge because we also have O'Neill getting up there in age as well as Gwynn. So they'll be moving on fairly soon, and we'll have Edmonds and Jones, two stellar defenders, right in the same outfield. We have Craig Biggio leading us off, followed by Gwynn, Matt Williams, Galarraga, Edmonds, O'Neill, Vizquel, and Charles Johnson. The rotation consists of Maddux, then Johnson, then Kevin Brown, David Cohn, Tom Glavine, same as last year. We do have one new addition. Tom Gordon was on the trade block, so we went and got him. We traded away Danny Graves and Aaron Boone to get him. We'll see how that works out for us, but I think he solidifies the bullpen even more than what Aaron Boone would help us or Danny Graves. We've upgraded from Danny Graves, and I don't think Aaron Boone is irreplaceable by any means. There are some waiver wire additions even out here, but I don't think there's anybody off the top who looks like they are fantastic to add. So we're not going to worry about them. We are getting ready, though, to start the next season. But before we do, we've got to check out the Hall of Fame. And we have 3 Cardinal players that made it. Gene Tennis, our first ever 100%. Gene Tennis, guy who only played to 83 and 241 average, 49 WARs, 1,000 hits, ends up with 2,000 hits, but 1,800 walks in an 81 WAR. He led the league in walks 3 times. It's amazing what he did to get the 100 hits. He's our first one to win 100. Not Ted Williams, nothing else. Gene Tennis. Mike Schmidt, who finished with 547 home runs and 113 WAR, not 100% vote. 11.54 in one season. Doesn't matter. 3 MVPs? Nope. Gene Tennis gets it. And Jim Brewer finally gets in on his 9th year. We're glad to see that. Rod Carew on the outside looking in, possibly a chance to gain some momentum. Same with Dave Parker. But Raleigh Fingers doesn't get in. That's disappointing. He never quite had it. Even though he had a good run for us, that was really about it. Well, and he had one for San Francisco. But in reality, 341 saves, 114 wins, only 272 and 71. So that's a big reason. 11.9 WAR compared to 27. Just never had the big years. So we couldn't make it. But we are ready to get things going. Kick off the 1997 season and our title defense. We are tearing things up in the first half of 1997. We have a 68-19 record, 21 games above the Pirates. We are on pace to beat our best season, which I went back and looked. It was 1970, where we won 120 games, and that was a 740 win percentage. So right now, we got a shot. Meanwhile, the Phillies are 4.5 games up over the Marlins. The Rockies are a game and a half up on the Padres, and we have a tight wild card race with the Pirates leading by 3.5 games, and they will probably end up spoiling the whole party for us in the playoffs. The Red Sox in the AL are having a stellar season, 6 games up. Even better are the Brewers, 9 games up on the White Sox, and the Rangers, 4 games up on the Mariners, with the White Sox in Cleveland tied in the AL wildcard spot. For the AL leaders, we have Mike Piazza crushing it with 387 average. He's got 29 home runs and 87 RBIs, but McGuire's keeping him out with 34 home runs and 99 RBI. Neon Deion Sanders, 35 stolen bases to lead the league. Piazza with the 1146 OPS, beating out Bonds and McGuire. Mike Piazza also with a 5.2 batter WAR. Nomar had a 22-game hitting streak. Vlad is up here doing his thing now in his rookie year, hitting .334. Oh, he's going to be great. John Smoltz with a 2.24 ERA. David Clyde is tied with Smoltz with 13 wins. Clemens with 151 strikeouts. Doug Jones, Randy Myers, and Uget Urbina all with 22 saves. I forgot about Urbina. He was also on my fantasy team, only he was actually pretty good. Clemens with a 5.2 pitcher WAR. In the NL, it was Vinny Castilla with a 374 batting average, beating out Vaughn and Gwynn. Galarraga's got 30 home runs, and he's hitting .339, with also leading the league with 86 RBI. Castilla's up there in all categories as well. Craig Biggio with 41 stolen bases is tearing up the base paths. Castilla with 1108 OPS, besting Galarraga and Griffey. Biggio with a 5.4 batter WAR. Meanwhile, Matt Williams had a 23-game hitting streak. While in the pitching side, Kevin Brown is leading the league with a 2.44 ERA, followed by Glavine, who's finally hitting that prime that we've been waiting for. Glavine and Randy Johnson both have 13 wins. Johnson also has a 2.75 ERA. And Pedro is beating Johnson right now, 182 strikeouts to 170. But he also has 2 more games and 18 more innings. Trevor Hoffman's leading the way with 23 saves, and Maddux has a 5.5 pitcher WAR despite a 4.06 ERA. But look at that, 9 walks. That's amazing. I wonder if he's pitched a Maddux yet. And Randy Johnson is also up there along with Pedro. If only we could get Pedro. How long is he under contract? Oh. Well, he's going to opt out after that, most likely, and we'll be able to make a run for him. No interest whatsoever, as they should not have any interest whatsoever. Look at this. Glavine, 13-1 along with Johnson. Fantastic. Tom Hinkie just came back over the All-Star break, so that's going to be nice to see. And speaking of All-Stars, for the AL, it's going to be John Smoltz getting the start. Mark Wallers is also there. Roger Clemens and Mike Hampton are on the team. Kurt Schilling's on the team. Billy Wagner is in the reliever role, finally, it looks like. Mike Piazza at catcher, as it should. Pudge is up there, too. Will Clark's having a stellar season, but Mark McGuire gets the nod. Frank Thomas is having another good one coming off his Triple Crown season. Julio Franco at second, along with John Valentin. Ken Caminiti at third. A-Rod at short, besting Nomar. And Nomar doesn't even make the team. Wow. Larkin does, though. Bonds in left. Bernie Williams in center, and Larry Walker yet again in right. So they have Bernie, McGuire, and Walker, but they have no pitching. In the NL, Kevin Brown makes it for us, so does Glavine and Johnson, but Maddux gets the start, but I like to see all 4 of those guys making it in there. Mariano Rivera for Pittsburgh, 5.17 ERA, but he's got the closer role. Interesting. Todd Hundley at catcher. Terry Steinbach getting another All-Star appearance. His 5th one. Good to see that. I was a fan of his. Jim Thome gets the start at first over Galarraga. Mo Vaughn also gets the nod. Craig Biggio at second. And we have Matt Williams at third, going back for yet another one on what will hopefully be a Hall of Fame career the way he is doing. What's he up to? 294 home runs. He'll pass 300. He'll pass 1,000 RBI. He's doing quite well for himself. We'll see if he can keep it up, though. Albert Bell out in left, Griffey in center, and Gary Sheffield in right. Galarraga won 11-10 over Kevin Young in the home run derby. I don't know Kevin Young, but he had a pretty solid 3 years there. I don't know him. He's slipping my 5.3 WAR, though, in 1999 for Pittsburgh. 22 stolen bases. He was a 2020 guy. Okay. But we're going to see if we can set a new record here and also see if we can capture yet another World Series championship. Well, we did not quite get our record-setting season. We were 1 win shy of tying it. We did win by 16 games over the Brewers, who also won 103 games. So quite the season for them, which means we have to face them in the Playoffs. Meanwhile, it was the Phillies winning as well. Oh, wait, no, the Brewers moved over. That's right. We have another case. This doesn't really represent things well because we have two new expansion teams coming in with the Diamondbacks and the Devil Rays. So let's just go look at the playoffs, how they turned out, because that's not who we were facing. So in the division series, we had to face the Pirates, and we started off a little scared. It came down to game 5, and Maddux pitched a shutout, 13-0. He pitched 8 2/3. Mesa came in for 8-pitch at bat. But we were able to win behind Craig Biggio, leading the way with a 4.21 average, 8 hits, 2 RBI. Matt Williams somehow, I guess because he only hit 211, even though he drove in 10 runs, wasn't enough. In the LCS, we bested the Giants in 7 games. Had to come back after losing games 2 and 3 to fall down 2-1. It came down to the end where Jim Edmonds was the MVP of that series as he had 4 home runs with 10 RBI. He had 2 home runs in the game clincher, or in the series clincher, where we won 6-0 behind Tommy Glavine, which brought us to the World Series to face the Red Sox. And it was a close one, but we went down in 6 games to the Red Sox, who were just as prolific scoring-wise, but they didn't have the pitching, I didn't think, but apparently it was good enough. And Vladimir Guerrero, in his rookie year, also won the World Series MVP, which I'm going to guess he won Rookie of the Year. But they had Pudge Rodriguez, Deion Sanders, Tino Martinez, Caminiti, Vlad. They had Chanaho Park pitching, John Smoltz over there. So they have a solid team for sure. But we dropped 3 games right to start. And the fact that we came back and won the next 2 was nice. But didn't have enough to get over there. So that means the Red Sox won their 7th World Series title. First one since 1935. 60-plus years that it took for them to win again, almost like real life. And lo and behold, just like in real life, when they finally broke their curse, their streak, they beat the Cardinals. So I guess it's only fitting. But we didn't get swept, so we'll take that. So we are still sitting at 22 after the massive season. It just wasn't enough. But when we look at the league leaders, it was Mike Piazza for Milwaukee, who's now in our division, hitting .382. McGuire had 49 home runs and 154 RBI. Deion Sanders had 67 stolen bases, while Bonds had a 107.9 OPS. Piazza with an 8.3 WAR and a 24-game hitting streak, putting up some MVP possible numbers. John Smoltz had a 2.63 ERA, along with 24 wins. He was 24-5. But Clemens had 286 strikeouts to keep him from the pitching Triple Crown. Jeff Montgomery with 38 saves, and John Smoltz, along with Clemens, both tying at a 9 WAR pitching WAR. In the NL, it was Mo Vaughn hitting .369. Griffey had 50 home runs and 145 RBI. Galarraga ended up with 40 home runs and 133 RBI, hitting .305 as well. Biggio with 64 stolen bases, beating out Nixon and Vizquel. Mo Vaughn had a 108.1 OPS. We are into the big slugger years. Biggio with a 9-batter WAR, putting up MVP caliber there because he's scoring so many runs. He scored 135 runs to lead the lead. That's really good. Hitting streak went to Piazza. Wait, that's not right. It was Matt Williams because Piazza was in the other league. So Matt Williams, our guy, a 23-game hitting streak, who is not on the protected list for this expansion draft. So we might be seeing him, but that's only because we do have him on the hook for 3 more years. He's kind of getting to the end of his great run with 98, 99. I mean, he had 99, which was a huge year. But we're going to keep some others instead just in case, because we did draft Eric Chavez last year, so we have a third baseman that can come up and replace him soon. I'm hoping. As far as pitching goes, it was Glavine with a 2.81 ERA, getting better and better there, beating out Johnson and Brown, his teammates. And it was in the wins, Randy Johnson, then Glavine, then Maddux with 21. Johnson had 291 strikeouts, leading the way over Messina and Finley. Pedro Martinez fell off because Pedro got hurt for 4 months near the end of the year, so that was sad to see. It was in the saves category, Trevor Hoffman having a much better year, 2.61 ERA, along with his 44 saves, same as last year, but only 4 losses compared to 8. And Maddux with a 9.6 pitcher WAR. Phenomenal season. So let's take a look at the awards and see what we've got going on here. We will go with the Gold Glove winners in the AL first. John Smoltz getting another one. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Ivan Rodriguez at catcher. Olerud at first. John Valentin at second. Kevin Ory at third. Ray Ordonez at short. And Marquise Grissom, Richard Hidalgo, and Orlando Merced in the outfield. Meanwhile, in the NL, it was Jimmy Key showing back up there in prominence with another solid season. It's been a while after a rough season in 96. Our nemesis of the early 90s in the playoffs. Charles Johnson, our man, getting it at catcher, having a better offensive year as well. Rafael Palmeiro at first, still going strong at 33, hitting 49 home runs. What's he up to? Just 242, not as many as I thought. Maybe I'm getting him mixed up with Eddie Murray. Mark Lemke at second. Matt Williams at third, picking up his first one. Royce Clayton at short, and the outfield went to Bernard Gilkey, Chuck Carr, and Steve Finley. Meanwhile, in the AL, for the reliever of the year, it was John Wetland, unanimously taking it with only 21 saves, but a 2.17 ERA, 70 strikeouts, and I guess he was just more of he didn't pitch in as many games either, but he had more innings, so it must have been more of a middle relief. I don't know, but he got it unanimously. And Hoffman gets it, beating out Steve Reed in the NL, getting one that I believe he deserved very much so, his first one of hopefully several. Silver Sluggers in the AL go to Ivan Rodriguez, Frank Thomas at first, Delino DeShields at second, Caminiti at third, Larkin at short. The outfield was Bonds, Bernie Williams, and Walker. Again, Larry Walker. Only his third one. I thought he's been doing a lot better than that. Is he almost... That's not a bad contract at all that they got him to. $3.5 million. Matt Williams we're paying $6 million to. Kevin Young at DH. No McGuire. Interesting. In the NL, it was Donovan Osborne, Mike Piazza, who was technically in the AL, Craig Biggio at second, Mo Vaughn at first, forgot him, Vinny Castilla at third, Chipper Jones at short. He has arrived, and he's had a few solid seasons just not showing up. Does he want to come to us? Oh, he's into a long-term contract already. They're not going to be any interest in that, sadly. Maybe we should shop. Oh, no, Matt Williams has a 10-5 rule. Outfield, Kenny Lofton, Ken Griffey Jr., and Manny Ramirez. Actually, here. Let's take one quick look. See if we could shop him around for anything. No. If we retain some money. Yeah, he's got the 10-5 rule. In the AL, the Rookie of the Year goes to Vlad. We knew he would. Hitting 31 home runs, 129 RBI. And Mike Cameron gets it for the Expos in the NL, beating out Erstad and Matt Morris with 23 home runs, 96 RBIs, and 253 average. Cy Young in the AL unanimously to John Smoltz, beating out Clemens. I'd say that is definitely a deserved award. And Randy Johnson unanimously. We have the top four, and the good thing is we have all four of them back next season, and they should be just as good. So even if Matt Williams leaves, I think the pitching is going to carry us through. In the MVP, in a tight one, 12 first-place votes for John Smoltz, but 9 for Bonds. This is the lowest I think we've ever seen. 9 for Bonds, 7 for Rusty Greer. Larkin and Caminiti each got 1. Interesting. I can't believe that. Does he want to be traded to us? Oh, they would for Andrew Jones. Oh, a 1-for-1 for Andrew Jones. That intrigues me. Because, 7 good years still, at least. While Jones, in that same time, is going to be nowhere near the WAR. We have Jim Edmonds. Ooh, that's interesting. Who else would they take? Rondell White? Oh. Not going to trade Edmonds. Dave Nielsen. Ooh, Ray Durham. I mean, we have Easley also. I think... Oh, we have to do this trade, don't we? Paul O'Neill's getting up there in age. We could keep Jones. We'd have him, Edmonds, and Bonds in the outfield. Trade away Dave Nielsen, but he's about to hit. We've got him under contract because he's going to be in that like perfect utility player role. I think he's going to finish, with this amazing season that's going to continue. Is there anybody else we could throw in there? What about like Jamie Moyer? Nope. David Wells? Nope. Mesa? Anybody? Chad Bradford is intriguing to get rid of. No, we'll keep him. So Rondell White we're letting go anyways. I think we do. Oh, Durham. We have Easley, don't we? I have Biggio. And we have Easley as well. Yeah, we're going to do that. I need to go back and actually sign Easley if I'm going to do that, though. Oh, yeah, we got to get Kevin Brown under contract. Okay, we got a lot of things to do. All right, well, let's pull the trigger on this stuff first. Okay, we're going to trade away Durham. No, Easley. Can we trade Easley? No, let's do Durham. Okay. That's crazy good. What if we just did that? David Cone. Oh, good. He's not protected. Let's do that. We will do that. Can we get him to retain any money? They'll retain $1 million as well. Let's do it. Oh, that's fantastic. Yay. Awesome. All right. Well, we got to redo the submit. Oh, no. Yeah, well, we'll see if he's on the protected list or not. We'll find out. I'll have to see. But let's do the first-year player draft. Let's take a look at the draft pool. Matt Holliday's out there. Pat Burrell. Adam Dunn, Troy Gloss, Aubrey Huff, Vernon Wells, Eric Hinsky. There's some good hitters out there. And in the pitching categories, we've got Brad Lidge, CC Sabathia, Rick Ankiel. So I have him marked because I loved him when he's growing up, when he came in, and he was awesome. So I just want to at least see how he does, and I may just have him for a year or two just because I loved how he was before he went off the rails. Carlos Zambrano's out there. El Duque, Orlando Hernandez is there. So there are some decent pitchers out here that we could use as well, who will at least play a role, if nothing else. The mock draft has us taking Juan Rivera way back there. So we'll see how things go. Let's start the draft, and let's kick it off with Cincinnati, who's going to take Matt Holliday. Blue Jays take CC Sabathia. Brad Lidge goes to the Twins. The A's, Carlos Pena. Rick Ankiel goes to the Yankees. And wow, at number 5. Ryan Madsen to the Orioles. Astros get Adam Dunn. Vernon Wells to the Dodgers. Morgan Ensberg to the Mets. Michael Cudyer to the Cubs. Jason Grilly to the Royals. Aubrey Huff to the Braves. Pat Burrell to the Tigers. Troy Gloss goes to the Expos. Aaron Rowan to the Cubs. Will Oman to the Marlins. Don't know that name. Juan Pierre to the Rockies. Didn't he start with the Rockies? He did. Well, that's fitting. I like when that happens. San Diego gets Michael Wirtz. Anaheim, B.J. Ryan. Seattle, Bill Hall. Juan Cruz to the Giants. Heath Bell to the Pirates. El Duque still out there. So is Zambrano. Phillies get Austin Kearns. Juan Rivera to Cleveland. Matt Thornton to the Rangers. The White Sox take Luke Hudson. Ryan Vogelsong to the Red Sox. Jeff Weaver, didn't even notice him out there, to the Brewers. Wow. Orlando Hernandez is out there. Not that he's an amazing pitcher, but he's solid. And then we just traded David Cone away. Zambrano is another one that is solid. Actually, better than I remember. Even not all that horrible down there. He could still be serviceable after that. I think we got to go Zambrano. What about hitters? Eric Hinsky's out there. Not a bad player. We have Eric Chavez. They're going to be good at the same time. Man, I think we got a steal there with Carlos Zambrano. Okay. And Arizona's going to get Jack Wilson. Tampa Bay takes Ty Wigginton. So we're going to wrap that up there. And I'll finish the draft, and we'll get to the expansion draft to wrap up this episode. Well, we are ready for the expansion draft, and I made a mistake. I didn't get Kevin Brown his offer quick enough, and now he's a free agent, so I don't know if I'll get him back. Other notable free agents, Piazza's out there, Edgar Martinez, Kurt Schilling, who, if we don't get Brown, Schilling's actually a little cheaper than what he's demanding. Roberto Alomar, Jeff Acero, Wally Joyner, Jim Leyritz, Ricky Henderson's back out there, Harold Baines, Jimmy Key, Todd Stottlemyre, Jeff King, Julio Franco. So there's some big names out there. We are going to see how things go with the expansion list. I think we already submitted. Yeah, we do have Bonds on there. We are leaving Tony Gwynn off and Matt Williams because, again, I think we're fine there. And Gwynn can go just because we're going to have Bonds, Edmonds, Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill I like for a little bit more defense than Gwynn, and Gwynn is 37. So, we're going to see how things go. We're going to... Yeah, we got that submitted. There you go. Okay. So now it's time to start the draft, and let's see the first few picks and who's out there. Yeah, it's going to be Gwynn. Matt Williams is going to go. Luis Gonzalez is out there. Oh, that'd be fitting if he goes to the Diamondbacks. Delino DeShields. I mean, the only thing that might prevent them from getting some of our guys are their contracts, but I kind of want them to so we can get some of that pitching. Darryl Kyle's out there. Matt Manti. Matt Manti's another one. David Wells of ours, Jamie Moyer of ours. We're probably going to lose them both. Oh, boy. Let's see who's the first one. Arizona is going to take Rich Aurelia. Interesting. Okay. Tampa Bay is going to take Bob Wickman. Then Carlos Perez, Todd Jones. Darryl Kyle goes finally. Pedro Astacio, Joey Hamilton, Michael Tucker. I don't know. Let's complete this draft and see who we lose. Tony Gwynn. Where's he going to? Tampa Bay. We did not lose Matt Williams. What's that leave us as far as money goes? That gives us a little bit more money and flexibility to play around with. We already have an offer out there to Tony Gwynn. To Kevin Brown, do we float an offer out there to Piazza? No, we do not. But we could offer something potentially to Schilling. I wonder if is that even a... Let's see, is that even... Oh, it is. Okay. Let's see if we can do it because Matt Williams is going to come off the books and we have a lot for extensions still available. The Bonds contract hurt us, but I like what we've got potentially here. We're going to have to fill in some of our other infielders, but I'm not too worried about that. We've got something on the bench, people who can move up a little bit. Alex Gonzalez, Eric Chavez, Luis Rivas are kind of getting there. We'll find out, but if we can get that pitching, that would be fantastic. And we didn't lose Jamie Moyer. I don't think we did anyways. Do we have him still? No, we did lose Jamie Moyer. Yeah. That's a shame. Well, we're going to wrap this episode up here. Thank you again for joining me on this one. We're getting close to wrapping up the 1990s, which we will do next episode. So tune back in to see how that goes, see what we get. We have 2 new teams in the league. That's going to make things even more exciting. And we will have the 98 season, 1998, where we had the home run chase. So what will Sosa and McGuire do? What will Bonds do soon? Come back, find out. So until next time, take care, and we'll see you on the next episode.